All right, and there we go. Hey everybody, my name is Gata, and welcome back to Coop Cakes. This week, we're finally getting back on track. It's been about a month or so since I've actually made cupcakes on this stream, which is kind of the point of the stream. But today, we are finally getting back to doing that. This week, we are making a design that I am calling Sunny Side Up Cakes. It is a chance for me to play around with a couple of new toys that I've gotten, and I'll show them to you right now. I mentioned these a couple of streams ago, but due to our scheduling issues, we haven't been able to actually use them on stream like I intended. So now we'll get to play with them a little bit and see how they work. The first one is this. It's a cupcake core. What it does is you jab it into your cupcake, and it pulls out a little bit so that you can fill it with puddings or candies or whatever your filling is. I got this guy about a month and a half ago, and I haven't tried him out yet. So this is going to be my very first try with him, and I'm going to see how he works. The other thing that we're going to do, because we're going to do two things this stream, is I managed to snag this tip. This is a filling tip. It's made specifically so that you can just jab it right into your cupcake and fill it up with, again, whatever kind of filling you want. Though this is meant most to be lagging video. Is it lagging behind my audio or just lagging in general? Because if it's lagging behind my audio, I don't know how to fix that. Okay. I have to wait for the actual stream lag to catch up. Hold on. This is embarrassing. Can hear you real time, but the image stands. But when you see the image, does my audio match up is my worry. We are having some minor issues with our internet due to the weather out here. If it's so bad that it's not watchable, I'll have to probably stop the stream. But I was really hoping it would hold out for me. Well, I guess for the time being, I'll just keep going. Nothing's wrong. But yeah, the filling tip. That's where friggin' those banjos. I was not expecting them to show up so quickly. Anyway. Hey guys, welcome back to Cupcakes! What was I saying? I'm completely thrown off track now. Thanks, Lee. No, I really do appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah, so we have the core that I just threw halfway across the kitchen. The core, and we have the filling tip. But what are we going to be putting in these cupcakes? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because for the first time in Coop Cakes history, we actually have prepared something before the show. I have with me here 2 bowls, one of which has vanilla pudding, and the other one has banana pudding. And these are what we're going to be using to fill our cupcakes today. But, as if having 2 different kinds of cupcake tomfoolery to play with this stream wasn't enough, there is one more thing we're going to be testing. I managed to grab myself a box of this Pillsbury Soft to Silk Enriched Cake Flour. Congrats on thinking ahead. Thank you, I do that every once in a while. I wasn't going to make us sit here for like an hour for the pudding to mix, to settle. Like, that's just ridiculous. After the 3 hours we spent on that carrot cake last week, no thank you. I did that this morning, so it'll be ready to go. But yeah, no, we have Soft to Silk Enriched Cake Flour. It is enriched and bleached, no less. This cake flour is something that I have heard talked about in like the cake making circles on the internet, but I've never had a chance to try out myself. Reviews of them are kind of mixed. Apparently, it does make the consistency of your cake better, but there's no real reason not to just use regular flour. I got this box at Walmart, and it was kind of pricey. It's 2 pounds of this stuff, and it was a little less than $8. I found a similar product with a different brand name that was at the local grocery store, and it was only for like $4 or $5. So I don't know if I got heckin' bamboozled with this, or if the price actually matches the quality. So we are going to be making our cupcakes using this today, and hopefully they turn out okay. So let me get started. And I immediately see I have a small problem. I have the bowls full of pudding, but I don't have the bowls for mixing up the batter. So, give me just 1 second. I knew it. There's always something. Always something. It worries me a bit if Twitch is the one being a butt. I hope it's Twitch and not me, though. Are the banjos back? You've got to be kidding me. All right, no, we're skipping banjos this time. We're skipping them. I'm not even sure why I still have those. Anyway. So yes, I'm going to take this camera, move it down, and we're going to get started on making the cake batter. So who do we have in stream today? I know that my sibling-in-law Lee is here. Susie, you're here too? Ready for your weekly baking ASMR? I probably shouldn't say that. I don't want to get stick. Can I? No, I don't think I can rotate this. Hold on just 1 second. Nope, I don't think I can rotate this. Alright, well, this is the best we're going to get then. Okay, this is about centered. Alrighty then. So, just use Stardew Valley music, because your life is that game, basically. I'm trying to avoid copyright. A number of Twitch streams actually were suspended for copyright issues. In the past, Twitch was kind of all hands off about it, but now they're kind of enforcing it. And like, I'm not monetizing this stuff, but I would rather not have to worry about having a strike on my account over something that could be easily prevented by just playing non-licensed music. And I forgot scissors too. I do this all the time. Hold on. One of these days, I'm going to come to stream and I'm going to be 100% totally prepared. That day is not today, but it'll happen. I swear to God, it'll happen. Alright then. So, we are going to start off with... I'm reading the instructions. The instructions for this mix are for a layered cake, so I'm trying to mentally remove the bits that have nothing to do with me. So we need flour, baking powder, salt, and baking soda in a separate bowl from the one that I just grabbed. Good Lord. All right. No, you know what? Yeah, no, I don't have an extra bowl. Last week, Lee, you mentioned that you happen to have a rolling cart that I could have. That's still on the table? Because I'm thinking if I can get one of those and have all of my baking utensils on it, so I can just roll it next to me. Oh, yeah! He's out here already. Good Lord. Hold on, I'll grab him for you. You did hear his collar. You heard him properly. Wriggles! Let's move this back up. Wrigley! I'll grab him for you. Wriggles, come here! Upper! Boy. He completely ignored me and went back to bed. Oh, no, wait. He's coming around the opposite direction now. Wriggles! Hi! Hello, good boy! Oh, you want to say hi to everybody? Oh, let's move this out of the way. Everyone say hello to Wrigley. Ugh. He is not doing so hot right now. He's a little scared. It's raining out, and he knows that when it rains, there are boomers, and he does not like the big boomers. So he's a little anxious. He's hanging out of the kitchen. Honestly, this was probably the easiest Wrigley Watch to win, but Yali, you won Wrigley Watch. I completely forgot to announce it at the beginning of the stream like I meant to, but you won. He's a good boy, though. Alright. I'm going to go throw him in his bed real quick so that he is feels a little more safe and secure. And I'll be right back. Okay, boy. Alright, let me wash my hands real quick before we get back to the baking. Always wash your hands after touching your animals, kids. You may think you know where they've been, but he is a good boy. I love him to pieces. I'm working on getting some kind of signage that will let everyone know when Wrigley Watch is properly in effect and when it's already been won. But for the time being, Lee, you win. Alright, so let's pull this back down and finally get to the actual baking bit. We've been live for 15 minutes and we're just now getting started. Lovely. Alrighty then. Is this properly in frame? This is properly in frame. Alrighty then. So, we need to start with 3 cups of the cake flour. That seems like a lot of flour to me. I don't remember how much flour I used last time with the actual flour, but that seems like a bit. It seems like much. Ooh, actually, let me pull this in front of the camera so I can show you. Already, it feels like stiffer than, yeah, the consistency it has to it. it's kind of sticky compared to regular flour. I can feel a difference. So hopefully that will transfer to a difference in our cakes. So let's see here, 3 cups. So I got my 1 cup scoop here. And we are going to go a 1, a 2, and 3. And already I'm coming up across a slight problem. I told you how this thing was like $8. This is gonna be 1 batch of cupcakes, and I've already gone through like more than half of this bag. Like, I don't like that very much at all. Hopefully the quality of the product will make the price worth it. But if I'm gonna be using this full time, I'm gonna have to find a cheaper way of getting it. I have been told that I can make my own cake flour by starting with regular flour and adding an amount of cornstarch to it. Which is something I'm probably going to want to have to look into if I plan on doing this all the time. So, that's the flour in there. We now need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Yes, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which we have right here. Ta-da! And I have my tablespoon right over here. Now, since we are experimenting with cake flour this week, I'm not going to try to flavor it. It's just going to be a regular batch of vanilla cupcakes. Once I figure out whether or not I want to go with this moving forward, it is 1 tablespoon, right? It is 1 tablespoon. Okay, just double checking. Then I'll start worrying about adding different flavors. Lemon is definitely on the agenda. I need to make chocolate cupcakes in a couple of weeks. My wife's birthday is coming up and she wants something chocolate, so I'm gonna have to suffer through that one of these days. Next, we need to add the salt and baking soda. And the salt is a half a teaspoon and the baking soda is 1/4 teaspoon. Now, I do not currently have my 1/2 and 1/4 teaspoons available, so I'm going to start with a regular teaspoon, and I'm going to have to eyeball a little bit. Pull this back so it's in frame. All right, so grab the salt shaker. Yeah, says Kaiju Cutie, but do you remember when her birthday is? Don't do this to me. I think it's the 21st, but I've gotten it wrong so many times it's now pretty much a meme in our house. Anyway, so 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So here is our adorable salt shaker. Yes, it is a little basset hound. My wife loves it. It's adorable. You want 1/2 teaspoon. That looks about right. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I got it right? Finally. Oof. And then, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. When we get baking soda, we get it in bulk. Whew. Yeah, it's heavy. All right. Pop this open. I'll get just an itty bitty bit. All right, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Boop. Okay. Okay, there's that. I'm using one hand. I'm overextending. Cut me some slack here. This. All right. So we have all the dry ingredients together in the bowl. We're going to mix them together real quick, just to make sure they are properly combined. Then we're going to put our wet ingredients in a separate bowl, cream it all together, and then we'll combine these two to make the batter. So, we've got Kaiju, we've got Susie. How are you guys doing today? What have you been up to? Give me something to work with here. Myself, I played some video games this morning. I have a friend who every Saturday morning hits me up and demands that we game. Most recently, it's just been Minecraft. Which, you know, nothing wrong with a little Minecraft. That lets me get my farm on, because you know that in any game I play, the first thing I do is try to farm. Staying out of the sun, says Susie. Oh, you played some Minecraft too? Nice. What version are you playing? We've been playing through the pre-3 for 1.13. Playing with the dolphins and all the kelp and whatnot. Alright. I'll switch over to the big bowl. We are going to be creaming our wet ingredients together. And those ingredients are... Let's see here... Oh, hold on. I'm missing a step. We've got to beat the butter and sugar together first. And then we'll add in the rest of the wet ingredients. Neato, neato. I'm on a realm with a friend. It's still on 1.12. 1.12 is a good version. I have quite enjoyed it for the time that we've had it. Now, let's see here. We need... How much butter again? 1.5 cups. So, 4 tablespoons is 1/4 of a cup. 8 tablespoons is 1/2 cup. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1/2 cup. So we need 3 sticks of softened butter? That might be a bit of an issue. I did not pull out enough for that. I'll have to make a half batch of frosting to make up for it, which should be fine. Should be fine. But okay, if that's what you say, man, you're the boss. 1.5 cups of butter. That's a lot of butter. That's a lot of butter. But, okay. So, that's 1/2 cup of butter. Unsalted butter, by the way. Just in case you were wondering. Using salted butter throws off the chemistry, seeing as the recipe already calls for salt. That's 2. Alright. Right, and 3rd. You're waiting for an update where you can dye your wooden planks gross colors. There's always mods for that if you're into that sort of thing. I am big into the modding scene. It's to the point where I play modded stuff so often that I forget what's vanilla and what's not, and I'm happily surprised when I see features that are actually in the game when I'm playing through vanilla. A happy surprise. Now, we need to add the sugar to this, and we are going to need 1 1/4 cups of sugar. My 1 cup, I'm going to rinse this off real quick. It's got that cake flour on it. I don't really want to get that all from my sugar. You know what I mean? Know what I mean, Mang? Now, any game that I play, the very first thing I do is figure out how to properly farm. I've been trying out that Starbound game. I've had it since it first came out. A friend gifted it to me, but I've never really seriously played it. And, I mean, I'm enjoying it alright. But I play with a few mods, and my laptop isn't powerful enough to run the good ones. Oh, yeah, no. I had that issue up until now. It's really rough. The longer the game goes, the more RAM it requires and the better processor. And it's just like, I'm very lucky that the computer I use to stream has a decent processor. I can get vanilla to play at 60. With mods, though, it depends. It really depends. You played through Hexit, though. Yes, I played Hexit for a bit. That was a good time. I have a friend who still plays it. They swear by it. So, here is 1 cup of sugar. and a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to pull my 1/2 cup scoop out and measure half of this. My 4th cup is currently unavailable. All right, there we are. So we are going to grab our hand mixer, and we're going to cream this stuff together real quick. So let me get that. I'm going to have to move the camera a smidge to get to the, let's see here. Well, nope, that's out of the frame. Wah. For some reason, I feel like the zoom on this has been changed. I feel like it's a lot closer than normal. Or maybe I'm just using a bigger bowl than I usually do. Who knows? Let's pop 1 in and pop 2 in. All right, cover your ears. It's gonna get loud for a second. Let's see. Whoop. Everyone's favorite part. When we scream. All right, so here's that butter and sugar all nice and creamed together. Now we're going to get started on the rest of the ingredients. I'm just going to scoot this thing out of the way. It's got gunk on it, but that's fine. I'm going to need it in a second. Come on. Don't fall over. There we go. All right, so what are the rest of our wet ingredients? We are going to need eggs, milk, and the vanilla. Let's get the eggs first. We are going to need 4 of my farm fresh eggs. 4 eggs. I'm starting to think maybe this recipe is for a little more batter than I anticipated. But that's all right. It just means more cupcakes. So, 4 of our farm fresh eggs. We have 1 of Kenshiro's and 3 of the Schuyler sisters. Segi is not quite large enough to begin laying, but I'm really excited for when she does. We're pretty certain that her eggs are going to be blue, just like Kenshiro's. Put this over here. You can never have too many cupcakes. Well, you would think. Every once in a while, I'll make a batch and they don't get eaten in time before they go bad. And then I would consider that definitely having too many cupcakes. Oof. All right. Come on. No shells, please. There we go. Good, 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 good. Whew. Thought it was going to shatter on me for a second. We got some loose shell here and there. That's no good. All right. Bye, Kaiju. Thanks for coming by. Let's see here. Now we need the milk next. How much milk? 2/3 a cup of milk. I'm going to have to eyeball it because, again, I only have the 1/3 cup. Well, actually, no. Hold on. I forgot. I grabbed this, too. I've got my big boy right here. Aha. So, 2/3 cup of milk. I can do that. 2/3 cup of milk. Very nice, very nice. And then we just need, the last thing we need is the vanilla. And how much vanilla? We need 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Okay, well, here's the extract. And we will get started on that. I hear this weird sound in the distance, and I'm like, what is that? Wrigley has one of his squeaky toys, and he's playing with it in the bedroom. Silly dog. So it was 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. That's 1 and a half. Boop. There we go. One of the other things that I plan on playing around with in a future stream, this vanilla extract is quite brown, and I've noticed that when I use it in large amounts of frosting, it actually slightly off-colors the white, which is not something I necessarily want. It kind of makes the cake not look all that great, especially when things are all white. So they sell clear extracts with no color to them, which then lets you use them in things that are meant to stay white without it altering the color too much. So that's something I definitely am going to want to get a hold of and give a try when I have the time. Maybe next stream I'll see if I can't get a bottle. Alright, so we have the milk, we have the eggs, we have the vanilla. We're going to cream all this together, and then we're going to start adding in that dry mix. Slowly but surely, we're going to start mixing it in into creating the delicious batter. Alright, so let's pop these yolks first just to make sure they don't skip around. And here we go. And you can see all of this butter here is started to like squish up against the sides. We don't want that, so let's just scrape around the bowl real quick. Go along the bottom too, make sure we got it all here to mix properly. There we go. Now, the final step for this batter here, we're going to grab that dry mix, and we're going to add in just a little bit at a time. Can I do this in a way that doesn't shadow over the bowl? I don't think so. I don't want to switch my dominant hand, my non-dominant hand either. So, let's try it like this. Yeah, that's a little better. All right, so let's get just a little bit in, and we'll mix that bit up. Oops. Ooh. We got some puffs going on here. That's not what I want. I don't want to end up ejecting half of the dry stuff right back out of the bowl. That's no good. So I've only added half of the dry stuff, and already this batter is a lot thicker than I'm used to. Like a lot thicker. Like it feels like a completed thing of batter for me normally. I do have some lighter stuff on the bottom, so maybe I'm just not cycling it quite right. I'm gonna mix this together a little bit before I add more, just to make sure I have it properly combined. Honestly, I might be overmixing it, but who knows? All right, I'm just gonna dump the rest of this in here. Get this out of the way. Okay. Yeah, this batter is looking more like dough batter than cake batter, which is a little worrying. The recipe doesn't really call for a heavier batter. This is just the recipe that's included on the back of the box. Which, I mean, I'm assuming the cake flour is what's doing it, because the cake flour was already pretty heavy before I started adding anything to it. So, I can only assume this is how cake batter is supposed to be, with like proper ingredients, and that I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Alright, let me try mixing this. I don't want to add anything to this to try to make it a little lighter. I want to make this recipe exactly as it says, but I'm a little worried. I'm just a smidge worried. And I think I got everything all mixed up right. I got a couple powder packets here and there, but I think for the most part I'm good. Alright, let's get this out. And, alright, we will get these into the sink so we can wash them off before we start with our frosting. If the mixer would stand on its own, that'd be swell. Thank you. Okay. Let me move a few things out of the way so I can move the camera back up so you guys can get a better look of the cupcake tin as I start putting the batter in. Let's see here. Back just a little bit. Okay. So we got this guy, and we have my 4-ounce scoop. So I'm going to grab that cupcake tin, and I'm going to start scooping all of this into there. I hope the camera still views that. Oh well, I'll give it a second. The oven is, of course, preheated to 350 degrees. Let's get this open. Here we are. Yeah, no, doing that carrot cake last weekend, it kind of raised my confidence a little bit. I was always kind of worried about doing cakes from scratch. My worry is still mostly monetary. Like, I am pretty concerned if I'm going to be using up $4 worth of flour alone per batch. But, you know. Last weekend's cake coming out and tasting delicious, I might add, really boosted my confidence, and this is what got me to consider the cake flour in the first place. When it comes to my personal business, selling the cupcakes as Coop cakes, I am still focusing on making recipes that start from a box mix, if only for the convenience. My wife, Jessica, however, insists that I make my own box mix. Well, the carrot cake came out great. Needed more carrots, of course, we covered that, but... Okay, so, we got our scoop, and we're going to start scooping this stuff out. Boop. There we go. Looks like little ice cream scoops. Which is, of course, quite ironic. Go. The next time I try a carrot cake recipe, though, I'm going to do it as cupcakes. Since it is mostly for taste testing, and because trying to find people to eat whole slices of carrot cake is nowhere near as easy as it is to just offer somebody a cupcake, you know? You need one of these. You've been using a dessert spoon, and the mix just goes everywhere because I'm really uncoordinated. Honestly, like, if you've been around since I started doing streams, I had that special cupcake scoop that I was using, but it involved, like, getting a knife and scraping the insides. I wish I'd known about this literal years ago. Like, oh my gosh. It makes things so much easier and so much faster, which is pretty important when you're trying to do an entertainment stream like this. We actually used to use a really small one of these to scoop out for, like, chocolate chip cookies. Say we. My family, when I was a kid, used to do chocolate chip cookies. and we had a special scoop that was just for that, because trying to make the balls the right size like with your hands just never worked out. It helps to get things uniform. Make sure that they all look nice and coordinated when they come out done. Almost done. I think we're actually going to have enough batter to fill every last one. Normally I'm 1 or 2 cupcakes short, but I'm thinking we might actually have a little too much. Not that that will be necessarily a big problem. Badoop. Oh man, I think we're literally going to have just enough batter for the actually, yep, just a little bit too much actually. Let me scrape off the sides a smidge. Oop. All right, and there we go. A whole 24 count of cupcakes. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these into the oven. How long am I making them for? I think it's for 21. I think it's for 21. Yeah, 19 to 23 minutes. So I'm going to pop them in for 21. Give me just 1 second. I'll pop these in the oven and we'll be right back. And then we'll start washing some things up and get started on the frosting. Timer. Go. All right. Hello again, it is me. I am back. All right. And I'm going to wash up my dishes real quick. And while I do that, I'm going to attempt to talk and work at the same time. We have to get some of our serious business out of the way. We only have 1 person in stream, but I'm still going to do it just to get into the habit of it. Hi, Susie. So yes, serious business. First and foremost, my name is Gata, and this is Coop Cakes. I make a new recipe, be it a design or a flavor, every single week. I have the main goal of eventually being able to sell my cupcakes to the local people. And this is just kind of like my test run. So I hope you enjoy watching. I only have the 1 person. Do I need to do the whole spiel? I probably shouldn't do the whole spiel. I'm just going to talk to you directly, Susie. Hi, how are you doing? Let's see. You were in the Harvest Moon stream, the very first experience farm, right? You were there for that. Wow. I really cannot talk and work at the same time. I keep losing my train of thought. Yeah, so, unfortunately, my weekly streams are going to have to be altered slightly for the foreseeable future. You're doing great. Thank you, Susie. You're very sweet. I hope you know that. But yes, no, my schedule is going to be slightly changing for the next couple of weeks. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to do Coop Cakes on every single Saturday like I had hoped for, which is a shame because we finally got 2 weeks back to back where I could keep up with the schedule that I set for myself, and then things in real life change. Because of how much time Coop Cakes takes to set up, I don't think I'm going to actually do any cupcakes for the next 2 weeks. But I am looking into finding time to do the experience farming streams instead, so that I don't really go a week without streaming. It's just not going to be the same content, which is a shame. I really wasn't hoping for experience farming to end up being a replacement for when I can't do a full Coop Cakes, because it feels kind of unfair. I think we had a fun time during the Harvest Moon stream, and I really don't want it to feel like it's just kind of like the better than nothing. You know, I don't want us to be the mighty number 9 of the My Name Is Gata channel. But it's kind of looking like how it's going to be for the time being, which is a shame. On the flip side, I have kind of nervous about mentioning this because I don't know if I'm going to follow through with it, but I'll put it out into the world so that I have to do it. I've been considering making some pre-recorded content. Nothing too serious. I don't have the technology to do any wild editing. Just some basic stuff. It'd be more like a home movie, I guess, of just stuff like around the farm. Some bits with my wife, some bits with my dog. I'm still working on the format. But eventually I want to be able to have a pre-made movie video that I can show off in the middle of a stream, or maybe to kick a stream off every Saturday. I am still entirely unsure. We'll be shooting a pilot sometime this next week. Because of our weird days off, I'm hoping on Wednesday I can get the camera and we can sit down and actually get some footage, which would be really neat. But yeah, look forward to that. And of course, you already know about the Discord group. You know about my Twitter, where I'm significantly funnier. You know about the Streamlabs and the box. I've actually recently tweaked the box. I got some feedback from, you guys in the Discord group about how the numbers for things were kind of ridiculous. Previously, you were only getting 5 box for every 10 minutes you watched, which means that for however much time I watched, even if you watched all of it, you'd only be getting like 50% of that time, if that makes any sense, in terms of like money. So I changed that. Now it's every 10 minutes you get 10 box, doubled that, and I also shortened the requirement for things. So everything is like half the price it was previously, and I feel like it's a little more attainable. Because like June, this is the first week. This is the first stream I've done in the past 2.5 months where June has not been present. It's kind of bothering me. I miss him a whole lot. But even with that, he'd only reached like halfway to the rank up thing, to the rank up redemption, which didn't seem quite right for someone as loyal a watcher as Jun. So I meddled with the prices, so hopefully that stuff will be more attainable and people will start using it more, so it actually has a reason to be there. I don't know. Let's see, what else? I'm working on some signage, some physical, like, things, props that I can do with my hands when I'm doing the serious business stuff. So it isn't just me looking at the camera, moving my hands around. I actually have like a little something with a logo, and then I drop it and the next one is there, and I go on and so on and so forth. I'm slowly acquiring the materials to make this thing feel more like a prepared cooking show, as opposed to just me jabbering into the camera for the whole time. Which, I mean, if you like that, thank you. I'm glad you find enjoyment out of this, but it's not really where I want this to go. I don't really plan on making this like, I don't plan on eventually being able to do this full time or anything, because my main goal is to have a local business, but I would like this to be a little more professional, so that when I have local clients who want to, see what I do, I'll have prepared content that I can just link them to, and they can see me, and it will look polished, and it'll make them want to buy things from me, which is pretty weird to think about. Owning a business. The American dream. But I think that's all the serious business stuff that I want to talk about. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The schedules for the upcoming streams we talked about in the Discord. I'll post about it on Twitter, and of course the stream thing at the bottom of my page. If you scroll down, there's a widget that has a list of all the streams. Will be updated to reflect that when I know what I'm doing. Hopefully I'll know before the day of, but we'll see. All right, so we are now going to switch over to make a batch of frosting real quick, and yeah, we're about halfway through the bake time, so let's get on to that. Let me just move this camera down. USA, USA. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of my country right now. Not gonna lie. Recent events, which I'm sure you've heard about, have kind of dulled my appreciation, which is why we're not doing 4th of July cupcakes this week, because quite frankly, fuck it. That was my one F word for the stream. Legally, I'm allowed one. Alright then. So, that batter recipe used a lot more butter than I anticipated. So I'm going to have to make a half batch. The good news is that this cupcake design, the sunny side up cakes, uses significantly less frosting than anything else. It's actually mostly pudding. The frosting is going to act as a barrier around the outside of the cupcake. It'll be, I think I already mentioned that it's going to look like fried eggs. I've been trying to be kind of coy about it and not flat out say what it is. It's meant to look like a sunny side up fried egg. So the frosting is going to be the white that goes around the outside, and then we're going to fill the cupcake with either the core or the injection tip with the pudding, and then have a little like ball of it on the top that will look like the yolk, in theory. That's what I hope it to be. So we are doing 1 stick of softened butter. Oof. All right. And we need to get confectioner sugar. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word for a second. Powdered sugar. Let's see, it's a half batch, so we're going to want to put 1 cup in to start, and then maybe a half a cup after it, just to make sure it sticks. So yes, I really hope they work out. I try not to do my recipes ahead of time because I want you guys to see on stream whether I succeed or fail. But that also worries me, because then what if the design doesn't look as good as it does in my head? So who knows? It's a... Ooh, I like this one. It's kind of upbeat. I need me a little boost right about now. Do-do-do-do-do. All right. So we have the powdered sugar. We have the butter. We need half a tablespoon of milk. Not a whole lot. Just a little. Half a tablespoon of milk. Oop. And then half a teaspoon of vanilla. Ooh, listen to that harmonica go. Half a teaspoon. Badoop. All right. So let's get our mixer back, and we'll stir all this up real quick like. All right. It's weird only having half of the amount of frosting I normally make, but we shall survive. All right, I'm gonna scrape the bowl, get all this powdery bits off, make sure it combines together properly. Man, that is not a lot of frosting. And this already looks a little too buttery for my liking. So I think I'm just actually gonna go ahead and add a bit more of the powdered sugar. Man. It's embarrassing because I know that I read the recipe ahead of time and I was like, oh yeah, no, I got enough butter for that. But in the end, nope. Hindsight, 2020. Alright, let me scrape these off. Ba-doop-boo, ba-doop-boo. There we are. Yeah, I don't know if you can really see on camera too well, but the brown of that vanilla extract alters the color of the frosting, so it looks less like white and more like a cream, which isn't necessarily bad. But as I noticed with the carrot cake, if you remember, I frosted that thing entirely in white because we were just doing it to try out like different techniques for different tips. In the end, it looked like it looked old. It looked antiquated. It looked old, which if I hadn't known that I had just made it, I would have looked at that and went, oh, it's been sitting out a bit too long. And that's not what I want, you know? So I'm going to have to get a hold of some of that clear extract for the future. All right. And that, I believe, is that. Oh, very nice. Very, 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 very nice. All right. So, now, let me grab a frosting bag. We're still using the crappy ones, unfortunately. I've been on the fence about whether or not I want to buy new ones, but I feel like in the end, it's just more cost-effective to just work with these ones until they're gone, which, unfortunately, will be a while. But I suppose they do the job well enough, so I cannot really complain. Let's see. What else has happened around here recently? I feel like I should give you a status update of some sorts. My wife, Jessica, apparently really enjoyed that whole vet chat that everyone had on stream last weekend. And I've managed to convince her that she should appear on stream more, which is a big hurdle I never thought I would cross, but she seems to be all for it, so yay. She isn't home right now, unfortunately. She's off with some friends, but hopefully in the future we will have a segment that is a non-segment wherein my wife talks about vet stuff, but we don't tell her that it's a segment because then she'll get embarrassed. All right, so yeah, actually put this down. 1 bag of frosting, it's not a whole lot. Honestly, looking at it, I feel like maybe I'll get 6 cupcakes out of this, which worries me, but, you know, it's whatever. I can make up some more tomorrow. The cupcakes will hold. I'll put them in the fridge overnight, and they'll be fine. How much more time do we have? We have about 5 minutes on those cupcakes. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to start putting the pudding into bags as well. Jun's here! Hi, Jun! I'm trying not to express favoritism, but we were just talking about how we missed you. I thought this was going to be the first Coop Cake stream you missed, but nope, you made it. Welcome to the stream, Jun. I'm pretty certain that Susie was already beating you, actually. Not sure how, though. I think maybe you were late to another stream, but I can't remember which one it would have been. Oh, I'm sorry. You were working. Well, don't feel bad, okay? You won 1 month, but Susie was winning the following. I think you won April, Susie won May. I'll have to remember. No, you missed the stream. What stream did you miss? Oh, you were referring to how you were at work and... Okay, I gotcha. So yes, recap, what's happened? Alright, I'll recap for all of the wonderful viewers out there, for which I mean the 2 of you. We are making sunny side up cakes. They're cupcakes that when I'm done with them will hopefully look like sunny side up eggs, like a fried egg. We are playing around with pudding today and filled cupcakes. They're already in the oven. And we have about 3 minutes left on those before they come out. Then they have to cool. In the meantime, we've already made the frosting that we need. And we're going to get the pudding into bags just so it's ready. It's the middle of the day for... What time zone are you in, Jun? I thought you and I were in the same. Aren't you in, like, Missouri? Mississippi? One of the M's, I thought. Hello, Jun's cat. Michigan. One of the M's. I knew you were by the Great Lakes, but I couldn't for the life of me remember which state was that, what that one was. So, like, in my head, I knew exactly where you were. It's just a matter of terminology. "6:35 is the middle of the eve day for you?" Well, considering I am an old man who goes to bed at like 8 o'clock. Suspicion. Being in the middle of the Great Lakes means you are adjacent to them, thus you are near. But yeah, no. So this is the vanilla pudding. I have 2 flavors. Vanilla pudding and banana pudding. The banana pudding was a request by my precious wife. The only problem is that I don't think I'll be able to taste test these, as pudding is just pure milk. And I really don't feel like, you know, I really don't feel like jamming that. Yes, we're putting pudding inside cupcakes. I thought I mentioned that already. We're playing with filled cupcakes this week. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna rinse off my spatula real quick, like. Susie, dear, would you terribly mind if I did another round of serious business just to get Jun up to speed? And also because I realized that once I get all this pudding into a bag, I'm not going to have anything to do for like 10 minutes. Ooh, the cupcakes are almost done. We got like 10 seconds left. Hold on, let me grab those real quick. Oh, also, Jun. The cupcake batter is from scratch this week. We're using cake flour, a specialty flour for cakes, so I have no idea how these are going to come out, so let's see. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, well those look nice. Okay, let me grab mitts. Mitts. I need to get a toothpick real quick. Yeah, well, I just got nothing. My wife isn't here to distract you with dog stories. Right? Well, let me show you guys real quick what it looks like before I set them. They're very, very light. They're very light. Normally there's like a brown tintish on the top. But this is very, very light. And the cupcakes themselves definitely feel thicker. They puffed up really nice. But I don't know. This reminds me of, like shortbread, actually. It reminds me of the consistency and the weight of shortbread. And I don't think that's what I was intentionally, I intended to do. So I'm going to put these to the side. I'm going to let them cool. And then we'll get to the decorating now. If you'll excuse me, Wrigley. Yes, unfortunately, Wrigley Watch has already happened. It actually happened in the first few minutes. Kaiju won this week. Off. It's been storming around here, so Wrigley has been more prevalent. He's around more often because the weather scares him. He's not a big fan of storms. Here. We at Coop Cakes are not responsible for any box lost because you are not attending Coop Cakes on time. I'm very sorry, Jim. But I will pick them up so you can say hello if you want. I just gotta get all of these onto the cooling racks so they cool faster. I don't want this stream to go on forever. Not like last week. Good lord. Damn, legalities. Yeah. He's had a really rough day. With the storm and all that, he's scared of thunder. It's been booming around here like crazy. Alright. I'm back. Hello. Alright. So, let me get the rest of the pudding into a bag. And then we'll need to do some cleaning up real quick, washing out the bowls and all that jazz. And then hopefully by then the cupcakes will be cool enough that we can frost them. I'm really excited. Let me put this back down for a second. Yeah, why not? And then I'll pop it back up again. And yeah. Still working on getting that second camera. You guys were both in the stream last weekend. I made a bit of a mistake. So, yes, you did miss the I'm very sorry. You will have to rewatch. But you showed up an hour late. That's not bad, right? Right? Ooh, this banana pudding stiffened up real good. A lot better than the vanilla. Which is good. This is what I'm hoping for. But yes, no. Turns out I made a mistake. I was watching back the footage from last week, and there was this really weird camera lag that I've never experienced with any of my other streams. And I remember that Estelle was complaining about lag, and I thought it was an internet issue. But the connection on my end was good. At least it was last week. Lol. Lol, what did you mess up this time? Says Jun. Well, okay. So, Twitch has this new feature called low latency, which is meant to stream faster, I guess, so that the time between when I say something and you guys see it and respond to it is less. The downside is that it's more of an issue for your computer trying to push all the stream out faster and get it processed as quickly as possible. So it involves a bit of a drop in quality. For some people, that isn't much of an issue. They already have like the best technology, and they can afford to lose like a frame here or there, or have to scale down from 1280p. Well, this week the camera lag is because we're having issues with our internet because of the weather. That's not about this. Last week though, we didn't have those problems. The issue was that I figured, lol, I'll test the low latency settings. What could go wrong? Famous last words. Turns out I tested them, right? And obviously it didn't work. My computer was not having a fun time keeping up, and I said to myself, oh lol, not for me, I knew it, whatever. And then I forgot to hit the button to switch back. So my computer was desperately trying to push the stream stuff out as quickly as possible with nowhere near enough resources to actually do it. And the result, unfortunately, is an entire 3-hour stream that gets pretty unwatchable at some points. Like, I'm surprised you guys stayed that long. It got kind of bad. Which is also a shame, because I really was hoping to edit that footage down to something more watchable, because there was enough footage there that I feel like I could have cut out all of the fluff stuff and done just a baking tutorial out of it. But say la vie. Yeah, poor Estelle, she was actively having issues with her internet while trying to watch my crappy stream. So, oof. Alright, what are we doing? We have the frosting and both of the puddings in bags. I should probably quickly put the refrigerated stuff back in the fridge. Then, while I wash the dishes, I'm going to do another round of serious business. Sorry, Susie. I know it's going to be a little boring. You already heard it all. We'll have to have another 3-hour stream. God. Maybe. I don't know what would even possibly take that long. Not cupcakes. Definitely not. It would have to be another full, like, tiered cake. But yes. So, serious business. The pudding is put into bags. Yes, there's put into bags for the center thing, because I didn't get to show you. We have 2 new toys that we're playing with. We have the cupcake corer, which punches a hole into the cake and pulls out a little bit of it. So you can fill it with like dry goodies like mini marshmallows or chocolate chips, or in this case pudding. But then we also do have this filling tip. It's kind of like a needle that injects the pudding into the cake from the inside, so you can get like, what's the term? Like kind of like Boston cream donuts, but as cake. So we're gonna try these both out and see which one we like the most. I haven't used them once, so this is gonna be fun. A marble cake. The only issue with the marble cake is that I would have to be able to make the batters for both concurrently, because the longer I leave one set of batter, the more it puffs up, and chemically it can kind of mess with it a little bit. So I'd have to figure out about that. What will you do with the extra cupcake bits you cut out? What indeed? I'm going to eat them. I'm going to eat them. That's just how it is. If I really felt like it, I could like take the little tiny cylinder of cake and like cut it in half and use the top bit as a lid to cover up and hide the hole. But with the design I want to do, where I make the pudding like the yolk of the egg, I don't really want to cover that up. I want it to start from the center and then naturally go up and create a little bubble on the top, which will be cute. Hopefully. I don't know. I haven't tried this out yet. This is completely new territory for me. Alright, let me pop open the dishwasher so I can just go ahead and put these right on in. For once, my dishes are going to be done before the end of stream. My wife is going to be so proud of me. But yes, the serious business stuff. I'll go through it real quick, because I already gave Susie the whole rundown. And I guess I'll add something else just to make it special, I guess. So, my schedule at work is changing a little bit. We have had some staffing issues. People have just up and left without giving their notices. We don't have replacements. The end result of that is, unfortunately, that I'm not going to have every Saturday off like I normally do, which is why I scheduled this stream when I did. For at least the next 2 weeks, I'm pretty certain I'm going to be working on Saturdays. Because of how long it takes for me to set up for Coop Cakes, just getting the computer alone set up, not even counting all of the extra stuff, it takes time. I literally I start setting this up at 2 o'clock, because I need those 3.5 hours to make sure everything's working. And even then, I end up not having enough time and rushing around at the last minute trying to get things that I forgot about. So having to work a full day and then come home and do cupcakes is just not going to happen. I do, however, want to make sure that I continue streaming every single week. I would like to keep that up, keep it the habit of it so I don't fall out of it. So even though I do not want the gaming stream, experience farming, to become like Cupcakes Light, I don't want it to be the thing that we only do when we don't have a full Cupcakes going on. But that said, it's what I'm probably going to have to do for the next couple of weeks. I don't know when. I don't know when it's going to be. Don't push yourself too much. This isn't me pushing myself, honestly. It's just real life gets in the way. I would do this like 2 or 3 times a week if I had the time and the money. Like, honestly, I really enjoy doing this, and only being able to do 1 recipe a week doesn't feel like good progress to me, if that makes any sense. So, like, this isn't an issue of me, like, burning myself out. It's just a matter of real life getting in my way. Did I say real wife? Real life. No, my wife is not in my way. She supports me wholeheartedly. Scheduling for experience farming, I will not know just yet. Since this whole thing with at work started literally like yesterday, I won't know what's going on with anything until I'm back to work on Monday. That said, there is another little secret project that I mentioned to Susie that I'll say to you. I am considering making some pre-recorded content, something similar to like a YouTube video, nothing too terribly long or too terribly out there. I can't edit anything really weird and amazing. I don't have the technology for that, but more kind of like a home video kind of thing about stuff around the farm, like stuff that is kind of away from the cakes stuff. But something that I can air either before stream starts or in the center of the stream to kind of break it up and give me a minute to go use the bathroom or something. I actually managed to get my wife to agree to be on camera for that, which is pretty neat. Apparently, talking to you guys about dog stuff last week really got her confidence up, so thank you for that. I didn't think that would have been as easy a thing as it was. Yeah. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, and I am just one person. Like, my wife supports me as much as she can. She loves that I'm enjoying doing this, but when it comes to being able to actually help me produce content, it doesn't quite work out like that. She's really good at telling stories. Like, she says that I'm the storyteller, but when she gets going on a topic she's passionate about, she's really good at it. So yes, I couldn't tell you when the video content will be coming. I don't want to put a date on it. This Wednesday, which is 4th of July, we both happen to have it off, so I'm really hoping to grab the cameras, set the whole thing up, and be able to get some footage. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, maybe I'll have something to show you. With that said, I'm kind of... This is new content, by the way. This is something new I didn't mention the last time, because I was thinking maybe I should hold on to it for a bit, but I'm going to say it now. With how YouTube has been changing recently, my plan was to start with Twitch, archive everything on YouTube, and eventually have the time and the money to be able to also produce original content that would air on YouTube first as a way to bring people in. But with how YouTube has been going recently, if you guys have heard anything about that whole thumbnail controversy, I'm honestly... I don't want to put my eggs in that basket. Little farm humor there for you. Because honestly, at this point, I feel like that ship has sailed. Like, YouTube has gone downhill amazingly for creators, and even though I'm not doing this for money, I just don't feel like getting involved in that mess. Which does mean I have to rethink my game plan in terms of the kind of content that I wanted to create for YouTube, and being able to aim it more at a Twitch audience, which is basically just you guys. YouTube is a dumpster fire right now. It would be funny if it wasn't so sad. So, I don't really know where I meant to go with that line of talking. It's just been something I've been thinking about lately, especially with how everything's been going on. So, we'll see what that actually leads to. We will have to see. Obviously, you guys already know about the Discord. You know about the Twitter, where I'm considerably funnier. I think that's it for serious business. Yeah, I think that's it. The scheduling was the big thing. Like, just letting you guys know that I don't know when the next Coop Cakes is going to be, but I will try to stream something at some point during the week. And I'll try to let you all know. Oh, I know what else. I'm working on... Let me turn this water off. If YouTube didn't hate its users, then maybe things would be okay. If YouTube didn't hate their users, would it really be YouTube anymore? Honestly. I mean, they've kind of been like that from the beginning. It's not... They're just now being openly hostile. Which is why I prefer Twitch, quite frankly. It kind of ones up YouTube wherever it goes. Have you guys heard about the developer thing? Twitch is doing this thing where they actually have like a list of all the features they're working on, and they have it publicly available so that people can give feedback on it, and they know when these things are rolling out, and you know, it's actually communicating with the people who make their platform watchable, which compared to YouTube is like a goddamn miracle. So honestly, Twitch is winning just by showing up at this point. Like, they're doing the bare minimum, and they're already the better service. But yeah. Oh, yes. The last thing I wanted to mention. I am working on getting some signage, getting some props that I can pick up and use when doing serious business, like just like a card that has like a logo or something on it, so I can like pick it up, talk, drop that logo. What do you know? There's another one right behind it, and I can go along like that. Just stuff to make this feel more like a professional cooking environment. My original game plan, the whole reason I started doing Twitch streaming at all, is because, as you know, I am planning on opening my own local business here. I'm planning on selling my cupcakes, getting to a point where I can produce them efficiently and regularly, and be able to sell them. So the plan for the Twitch stream for the YouTube originally was to be able to have professional, tidy-looking content that I could then push towards potential customers so they could watch it in like YouTube-sized bites and get a feel for what it is I do and what kind of things I create, which would hopefully maybe get them to buy from me. Obviously, that's not quite going to work. Do farm-themed signs? Maybe. I'll think about it. It has to be something that I can recreate. I also definitely want to get a sign that I can like hang up behind the camera that'll let people know whether or not Wrigley Watch is in effect. Wrigley Watch is also going to be moving on to be a Twitter thing. Every Wednesday, I'm going to do a set of shoots of just Wrigley being Wrigley, because everyone seems to love Wrigley. So if you follow me on Twitter, keep an eye out for that hashtag. Is this a hashtag? Is this what the kids do to make a hashtag? I don't know. Hashtag Wrigley Watch every single Wednesday, and it's just pictures of my dog. There you go. Something to supplement all the wife posting that I do. And that's it for serious business. Sorry, Susie, I talked your ear off twice. But honestly, now that I'm not thinking about archiving this stuff on YouTube, I kind of don't really care too much about whether or not every minute of it is professional and watchable. Which is kind of weird. Because like you guys know that I kind of go out of my way to make sure that even that what you guys say in chat is like mentioned on the video for future viewers. But like in 60 days, the whole thing's going to be gone off of Twitch. So it's like, and I'm not serious about YouTube anymore. So I don't know. This whole thing has had me, like, it's turned me on my head. I've had to rethink pretty much everything I've done up until this point. So, alright. Let me see how cool those cupcakes are. I want to bite into one of them. Just to see. So let's... Alright. I'm going to go ahead and bring a whole batch over so we can start decorating them because they are cool enough. So let's see. Let's see where this takes us. Got my fancy tray here. bunch of. Move these bags out of the way. And I'm going to move the camera to focus back down on... Well, actually, no, let me do a taste test first. So, I have this one cupcake right here. With the lighting being what it is, the glare on this cupcake is kind of real. But if you can see at all, it's very light. Like, normally there's some browning on the top or on the sides, but this looks the same exact color as the batter it was originally. That worries me. It's also pretty heavy. Like, there's a weight to it that I don't normally get out of cupcakes. Ooh. It peels away from the paper pretty darn easy. Like, normally there's some sticking going on, but that came off real quick. Alright. Smells alright. It'll be good for the egg theme. That's true. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and bite into it. Ooh. It's dry. That's pretty darn dry, actually. Mm-mm. I don't like that. The taste is fine. Well, it's not like it's bad. I mean, it's not good. But it's edible. Let me get a glass of water just real quick, because actually, wow, that's pretty dry. I don't think I forgot anything, actually. Let's see here. We did the flour, baking powder, salt, baking soda, the butter, the sugar, the eggs, the milk, the vanilla extract. Yeah. We did everything exactly to the recipe. But it's not what I want. It isn't bad. If someone offered this to me and there was a drink to go along with it, then I'd eat it. It tastes fine. It tastes okay. It kind of tastes like cereal cookies, actually, now that I think about it. Not the consistency, but the flavor. It's just like flour with sugar and that's it. If I were to do this again, I would obviously want to do something to make it moist. But I would also up the amount of vanilla. Like, there was already a decent chunk of vanilla in it. But the flavor is pretty understated, which is honestly a shame. But my first go with cake flour, not feeling it. Honestly, not feeling it, which is a shame, because this was like an $8 box. But let me get that glass of water real quick, because Lord knows I need it. I'll be right back. 1 second. Ugh. Ay, ay, ay. Oof. Alright. Sorry about that. I don't know. This was, of course, only the recipe that's on the back of the box, and not to talk crap about anything, but it is a Pillsbury product. And in my experience, Pillsbury cakes tend to be dry. So honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, in that context, I'm not sure why I'm surprised. To be honest, I've been doing this for an hour and a half now, so I was already kind of thirsty to begin with. Now that I've had a sip. The banjos are back. They're a little late. They should have showed up when I was taking the first bite. Ooh. It crumbles nicely. The inside has like a sponginess to, well, you can't see because my camera's crap. It has kind of a sponginess to it. If that had been the whole cake, then I would have called it all right. But again, the taste is okay. I don't mind it. It's just so dry. Ridiculous. So what I'm going to have to do, just to make sure, I'm going to have to find another recipe using cake flour. Because I still have half a box, right? I'll have to try that recipe. and see if there's a difference. If maybe it's just Pillsbury thinks that cakes are meant to be dry. I don't know. I can feed the raw cupcake to the chicken, like just straight up, no frosting, no pudding. They shouldn't have too many dairy products, and honestly, they shouldn't have too many like cake products. But we do have 5 chickens, so it should be okay. It should be okay. I know it's dry, but it tastes good, so I'm like, I kind of want more. I shouldn't. No. Okay, maybe just one more bite. God, that's dry. But it tastes good. It reminds me of, you ever buy shortbread cookies from like a store as opposed to like baking them yourself? They taste like shortbread cookies, they smell like them, but they're always like a little too crunchy, a little too powdery because they're obviously prepared and like shipped with preservatives and crap. That's what this cupcake tastes like to me. Yeah, cake just like it just sucks in all the liquid I have in my mouth. Like, Okay, that's enough cake for me. So, I'm gonna move my test cupcake out of the way. And we are going to move the camera back down so you guys can see me decorate. Let's see here. Ba-do-ba-doo. Okay, let me just position the camera. Jinmon says, so it's a sponge cake. Wah, 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 wah. Bad joke alert. Bad joke. Okay. Alright then, so how do I want to do this? Well, first off, we need to get a separate bag that we're going to put the tip in. You know what? Okay. Susie, Jun, vote now on your phones. Which one should we play with first? Should we play with the cupcake corer, or should we play with the filling tip? The 2 of you, so if you want to be jerks about it, you could just give it a draw. Well, see, I'm going to punch holes with the ones that I use the corer with, but with a tip, I'm just going to insert it and fill them up that way. Or are you asking where you're going to punch holes? They're going to go straight down the top. That's 1 vote for corer. 2 for corer. Corer it is. I am going to punch holes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in 6 of these. So I'll just do the front half, I guess. All right. So use your cupcake. All right. This is my first time doing this, so if I mess up, I'm gonna mess up good. All right. And go at the front, and just kind of push down ever so slightly, and then do a twist and pull it back up. That didn't go down near as far as I thought it would. But I guess the cupcakes themselves aren't very tall. Also, here's a bit. Let's pop it out. Ah, there we are. Oops, I stuck my finger. Got it. Alright, so we have this little cylinder of cake left. If I were going to be putting something like chocolate chips or whatnot in there, and I didn't want them to fall out while people are like moving the cupcake around in their hands, I would cut off the bottom half of the cylinder and keep the top and use that to plug the hole back up once I got the stuff in there. The core looks sharper than it is. It barely even pokes me, so don't worry about it. I'm perfectly safe. All right, let's do this again. I'm gonna try this one going a little deeper, see if there's any downside to it. I just don't want to reach the bottom by accident. Or, yeah, no. I got even less cake out of this one. Alright. This one we're going to go all the way. I'm going to just go all the way down until I reach. Alright, let me twist it a bit to make sure it comes out. And whoop. Ooh, I got a lot more cake with that one. There we go. Woohoo! Very nice. Okay. Let me take these cake bits and move them off to the side. I got a little pile over there that I'm going to toss out to the chickens once this is all over with. Boop. Boop. Until I reach bedrock. Not quite that far, but yes. Susie, I didn't know that you were a Minecraft fan, which sucks so much because, like, I have, like, officially established that there is in no way possible for my current tech output to play both Minecraft and record it at the same time. Not even with it at a shitty, like, quality. Like, I can't even get it to do a solid 30 frames. Oh, I got just the top of that this time. Hold on. I'm gonna have to record that. My dreams of being a Minecraft YouTuber will have to be put on hold again. Someday. Someday. Alright, there we go. Alrighty then. Well, that certainly happened. Because of how dry and crumbly the outside, like, this feels like it's hard, right? It's just tap, 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 tap. So, like, once you reach the inside where it's not so crumbly, it comes out real easy, real smooth. And none of these went all the way down to the bottom. So I feel like, in terms of first-time core usage, I did pretty darn good. "30 frames, a pipe dream." Playing at 30 frames is different than having to watch someone play at 30 frames. Playing at 30 frames, or even 20 frames, is, it's doable if you kind of, like, make your eyes go lax. But watching someone play at that frame rate? I can't even do a solid minute of that. No thank you. Click off. Alright, so, let me think in what order I want to do this. I feel like I should do the frosting around the outsides, because the frosting ring that I'm going to do is what's going to keep the pudding yolk from just completely pouring off the side. So I think I'll do that first on these cakes, and then I'll start trying to add the pudding. So, first thing we need is another bag, and the tip that we are going to be using today is the open wide mouth cupcake tip, one of the bigger ones. We don't want to use a tip that will give it any texture, because this is meant to look like an egg. If I had thought ahead, I could have gotten black or brown colored sugar flakes, so I could make it look like pepper on top of an egg. People put pepper on their eggs, right? Let the pudding be an egg. Alright, so we have our bag with the tip in it. Now we're going to take our frosting bag, and we're going to cut a hole at the end of this as well, and then we're going to put a bag in a bag. Now the reason why I did not just go ahead and put the tip in the bag before I put the frosting in, we're going to want to use this tip again to fill the pudding up in the cord cupcakes. So we're going to want to need it to be accessible real quick like. Let's see here. Alright, let me just make sure I have a good grip. And we'll start with this one. Alright. It wants to go around the outside. Alright, so here's the white of the egg, right? It's a little tilted. I didn't mean for that to happen, but that's okay. We'll just do better on the next one. Alright, there we are. That's two. Oops. Eggs can be tilted. Yeah. Having minor inconsistencies is what's going to make these things look good. Make them look like they're homemade. If I were to be able to somehow magically make them being perfect every single time, I feel like it would kind of lose some of the charm. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to start on these ones in the back. Because again, I'm going to want them to already have the rings to keep the pudding from going off the sides. They are. So you're just lining the cupcake around the edge so the yolk can come flowing out. In my mind's eye, right? I have the white of the egg, and then the yolk will come up and hopefully have a little dimension to it so it isn't just flat. I'm hoping that as I'm filling it up, I'm pulling back, it'll create a nice little dome of pudding. Sunny side up. Sunny side up is the plan. But I've never tried this before, so I don't know how good it's going to be. Alright, just 2 left, and actually we managed to have enough frosting left over for a few more back there. Not enough for the whole 24, unfortunately. But even though we ended up having to use more butter than expected, it turned out okay. Okay. So, whew, there's that. I'm going to pull the frosting out of this, and I'm going to rinse out this tip real quick, because we're going to want it. Put the frosting off to the side here. Wham. Alright, doop-a-doop-doop. Rinse this out real quick like. Now. This is the point where I really wish I had more than one of these tips. If I were to do this for, like, as a job, if I were to open this as a business, I'm going to want to get, like, a fleet of each individual tip. So I don't have to spend time washing out the one singular version of this tip that I have. I can just grab the next one in line and continue production without having to stop. That's the dream right there. One of the few things I miss about working for a corporation. It's having all that extra money to play with for materials. Alright. So, we'll get the tip in here. Alright, so we are going to be filling 3 of these cord cupcakes. Over hard, I believe, is when you fry it sunny side up, but right near the end you flip it over so that the yolk remains intact, but it still is properly cooked on both sides. Now, question, y'all. Oh, well, you break the yolk with the egg and cook it till it's all hard. Oh, that's weird, kind of, but hey, to each their own. I'm not going to judge people for how they eat their eggs. We have banana pudding and we have vanilla pudding. Which one should we use first? No, that's over medium. Okay, Jen, if you say so. Oh, there's a million ways to cook an egg. I usually scramble them myself. But yeah. Jen votes for vanilla. Alrighty then. Vanilla, it shall be. Okay, so I'll pop this open. And then we'll just shimmy one bag into the other. All right, so here goes. We'll start with putting the tip all the way into the core, and then as we push the pudding out, as it fills up, we'll lift up and then kind of go around like this. And because of how bright my lights are, the yellow looks faded, but here we go. Our very first sunny side up cake. You know what? Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna real quick turn off one of these lights just to see if you guys can't get a better view of it. If that helps at all. It got a lot darker in here, didn't it? Yeah, the glare isn't that bad anymore. The yellow is comparably more yellow. If I were to try to make this regularly, I'd actually probably add a little more yellow dye to make it a little bit darker. But yeah, on the screen I can see it looks like lemon, to be honest, and that's not what I was going for. That's not what I was going for at all. So I am going to go ahead and real quick do the same with these other ones. A-ba-doop. And a-ba-doop. These came out looking really cute. I'm actually quite happy with this. Yeah, I quite like these. Which is good, because I wasn't too happy with the last design that I made. So it feels nice, I feel accomplished. Now, let's see here. What's the best way to do this? I gotta wash the tip out again, but I want to use the rest of this vanilla. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I am going to get a bag with the filling tip in, and we're going to inject. I feel like it might need a bit more frosting, but this is adorable. Maybe, I don't know if I can get like a wider mouth tip, but yeah, if I could build up these sides a little bit, the white bit, I feel like it would look like you're getting more, Or if I had, like I mentioned, the black sugar flakes for pepper, you can eat vanilla straight. Well, not gotta because he's gay. Thanks, Jen. Solidarity. Vanilla pudding. Actually, no, I can't. Pudding is straight up milk. So I'm probably gonna taste test one of these to see if the moisture gets any better, but after that, I'm not gonna be able to, eat them. That will be no bueno. Okay. So let me pull the tip back a smidgen. Exactly because you're gay. Alright. Probably should have cut this a little further up, but the shape of this tip is kind of weird. I'm not used to tips that are this long. Alright, so I'm going to pull the vanilla pudding out of this bag, and I have to be careful because it's already coming out of the end. Oof, let me move you out of the way. This is messy. Didn't expect it to be this messy. Don't know why. It's pudding. Okay. So now we have this big, like, injector thing. So, I'm going to take one, and I'm just going to shunk. And then ooh, the cupcake is, like, actually slightly expanding. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see it with that camera. There's a small crack along here from where the cupcake actually started to like inflate. That's neat. Don't know how that'll actually pan out. Oop. All right, and shunk. Go. You don't fully understand what pudding is. I'm not sure where in the UK you are, but I believe I heard that pudding is like a phrase you use to refer to like a part of the meal, like the dessert, as opposed to an actual thing. Tell me if I'm correct about that. Jello is gelatin. So like, yeah. Actually, I'm not really sure. Pudding is an after-dinner sweet dish usually. Yeah. So, American puddings is a flavored milk thing. It's like, I'm trying to think of what else we use it for. If you've ever had like a sweet pie that was filled with like a custard, I've heard them compared to custards. Yes, you are. If you ever come to the States, you're going to be very lost in a Walmart. All right. So, now that I've injected those cupcakes with the pudding, I'm going to bring it back over to this tip, and I'm going to use it to make the yolk design. There we go. These look nice. I quite like those. Okay. So, what's this bag? All right. Now, let me rinse these tips out real quick, and we'll get making the banana ones next. Then we will have ourselves a quick taste test. And then that's probably going to be it. We managed to go for 2 hours this time. I guess 3 hours isn't terribly that much of an extra leap beyond that. I mean, it's an extra full hour, but, you know. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now, I can't eat puddings, but back when I could, I preferred pumpkin spice, because around the holidays, us Americans, we have to put pumpkin in everything. Yeah, Americans have a shitload of flavors. So like we got vanilla, we got banana cream, chocolate, obviously. There's a lemon, very nice lemon. And then the old people flavors like butterscotch and tapioca. And of course, around the holidays, they throw pumpkin in there. So pumpkin spice was my personal favorite. Japan has pumpkin and chestnut. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever actually eaten a chestnut. I mean, not that I'm aware of. Alright, so need to get another two bags. since the bags I were using now has vanilla pudding all through them. So I'm going to go ahead, actually, and do the injector one first. You want to eat more pumpkin. I had a pumpkin plants growing, but unfortunately, when they had horses during the last hurricane, they trampled all over them. So they did not grow, and they did not create pumpkins, and I was very upset. Ooh, banana. That's a Donkey Kong 64 reference, in case any of you young whippersnappers didn't know what that was. You carve out a pumpkin at Halloween and then watch it rot for a week. To be entirely honest, that's kind of what I do with it too. Like, you're not alone in that. Alright, so the banana pudding and oop. Okay. 1. That's 2. I think I'm over-injecting them just a little bit because they keep spewing at the top. And this one makes 3. Okay. Next time on Coop Cakes, minion cut. No! Never minions. Never minions. Don't you put that evil on me, Jen. Or Susie did that. I'm sorry, Jen. Susie! Come on, bag. Work with me. I hate these bags so much. I've got to get them replaced. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Come on. Oof. Man. You know, I said the vanilla pudding held up better, but the banana pudding is really goopy. Like, it's getting everywhere. I am not really about that life. No, Susie, you cannot. You could not pay me to make minion cakes. I mean, actually, probably somebody could if they actually were paying, but... Okay, and then these ones. Fill her up. Alrighty then. And here we have the titular sunny side up cakes. What do you guys think? I'm quite happy with how they came out. Like I mentioned earlier, I definitely would use a little yellow dye in the pudding to make it a bit darker, because this is a little too light. It looks more like the little lemon cakes they sell at Walmart during the summer. I don't have a picture to explain exactly what that's like, but it looks more like those. But these are decidedly not lemon. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the camera back up. I'm going to take a bite out of each one, well, each kind, one of the filled and one of the cord, and then we'll see what I think, if it happens to help the dryness of the cake any. So, let's see here. I'm going to do an injected vanilla. Okay, so, boop. And I'm going to turn this way so that if in the event, oops, I'll turn this way then. So that if it happens to goop out into my mouth, you guys will see it. Make sure the camera, okay. That's a lot of dairy. I'm gonna regret this. The moisture from the frosting and the pudding almost make up for the dryness. I can still taste, I'll answer that question in a second. That isn't from the dried cake. That's from my dairy allergy. But yeah, no, the sweetness and the moisture from the stuff on the top almost makes up for how dry that cupcake is. What gets to me, though, is that I took a big chunk out of it, and you'll notice that there's no pudding dripping out. Because of the core section is like straight down the center, I can see a little bit behind this wall of cake of all the pudding on the inside, but on the first bite, it didn't come oozing out from between my lips, which is something that I think is really important when you are making filled cupcakes. You don't want them to always have to be messy, you know? Not everyone likes that. But if I take another bite, there it is. I don't know. Let me break this open real quick. Let me see how much pudding. Oh, yeah, no. There's a decent amount of pudding in that cake. You can't see on the camera because of the... I could say it might be the point of the dry cake mix if this cake mix was made with filled cupcakes in mind. This was just the average run-of-the-mill, here's your generic vanilla cupcake recipe. This was not meant to be balanced against having pudding filled with it. I would like to claim that's the point. I'd like to take responsibility for that, but I can't. So this was the injected one. Yeah, actually, this was the injected one. This wasn't the cord one. So a decent amount of pudding in it. Not too much. It didn't leak out of any other side. I'm definitely liking that injection tip. All right, so let me put this to the side. And now we are going to grab the cord banana. Okay. So, ta-da! Get the paper off of this. Man, this is crumbling all over the place. Oh well. The banana's strong. Alright, here goes. So right off the bat, dang. Right off the bat, I know it's a small problem. I mentioned how the banana pudding was holding together a lot better than the vanilla. When I took that first bite, the entire wall came crumbling down, even though I didn't bite through it. If that makes any sense? So like, if I had bit down and my teeth had already made contact with where the filling was, that'd be one thing. But I didn't. I just took a little bit off the outside, and the whole wall came peeling back. No, I won't make myself ill. Don't worry about it. This is all of it. If that filling had not been as stiff as it was, that would have caused the whole thing to just come gooping out. Of course, with this particular pudding, it's fine. And honestly, it looks more uniform. I don't know if you can actually see. Probably not, because that's the recurring issue with this. Here. Yeah. That looks a bit better. You can see the column of pudding where the filling is. If I were to purchase from someone who claimed to be professional, I'd want it to look like that on the inside. I'd want to be able to see that more mechanical precision. So I guess it would depend on the kind of filling I'm using. If I know it's not going to be as stiff as I want, I'd want to inject it. If I know it's going to hold its shape even as the walls come breaking apart while it's being eaten, I definitely want to stick with the core. Blech. Taste was fine. Again, the sweetness of the cake itself worked really well with both the frosting and the pudding in combination. Quite frankly, that was very tasty. Like, very, very, very tasty. But just the moisture you get from the pudding and from the frosting is not enough to counteract how dry that bake mix was. So I'm definitely going to have to try again. First to go with this, with official cake flour, has not been the best, honestly. I do know that there is a poor man's way to make cake flour to get like the positive bits of cake flour without having to actually buy official cake flour, and that involves adding some cornstarch, an amount of cornstarch to the flour you're using when you're baking from scratch. Considering how that carrot cake turned out, and it turned out fantastic and perfectly moist, and I was so happy with it except for the lack of carrot, I feel like once I'm done with this box, I will have to attempt something like that, like a regular flour mix, but add in the cornstarch to get it to be a little more firm, I guess is what I'm getting at. But that is something for another day. I think we've pretty much exhausted everything I planned to do here. We got to the results that I was hoping to get to, not the results that I wanted, but c'est la vie, that's how it goes. So I guess I'm going to be signing off for now. Thank you guys very much for watching. My name has been Gata, and I will see you next time. Not next week, next time, because, yeah, life. But yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. You have a good night. Bye now. I gotta get a button for this. Okay. Bye.